Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and thank you so much for being here. On today's video, I want us to talk about massive cities in the UK that you should look out for when looking out for visa sponsorship jobs and places that you should avoid. This is because sometimes as a foreigner or when you're looking for opportunities abroad, you're looking for jobs in the wrong places or in the wrong cities. And that is because maybe you have friends who are in such kind of areas and you think it is easy for you to get jobs with visa sponsorships, or most of the times you've already relocated to the UK and you're looking for career progression and you're wondering why you're not getting jobs with visa sponsorships in the area you are. But this video is mostly for the people who are looking for opportunities to move here, those people who are still not here. I want to give you these tips because career progression is very, very important when you're switching or when you're coming to these sides. And it is very important because once you get a job, it is very easy for you to get a job to come here, but it is an uphill task to get to a position where you can progress or a company where you can progress your careers. And that is because of very, very, very many determinants, some that I want to talk about today. So there are a lot of places or a lot of cities, let me call them places or areas, that you should really avoid when you're looking for jobs with visa sponsorship if you're not here yet. If you want to come to the UK, I'll tell you for free, you should avoid some of these places because they really, really are competitive places for very, very many reasons. They're either competitive or not competitive. And if they're not competitive, it means that getting career progression is somehow sometimes very difficult. If they're very competitive, it means you are a lot of people, labor is a lot, and you know what that means, right? So let's get direct into the video. Remember, subscribe, definitely hit the notification bell, leave a comment, give me a big fat like, tell me what kind of videos you want to see me creating and posting. And thank you so much for being here. If you're a returning subscriber, if you're a new subscriber, karibu sana. There are a lot of factors you need to consider when you want to relocate, and I've shared this in a previous video and said you need to factor a lot of things when you're relocating. It is not about how much you're earning in these places. Also, the cost of living is a big determinant to how much you will end up with in your pocket. So one of the places that you should really, really avoid, and my geography is not that good, so I'm gonna let you guys do all the assignments on this point because really I do not have a lot of information on how universities are spread across the UK. And remember, I said in a previous video, when we are talking about the UK, mostly the UK mainland, we are looking at England, we are looking at Wales, we are looking at Scotland, and we are looking at North Ireland. So one of the places that you should avoid in UK in general is the places with high population of universities. Any place or any city that has a lot of universities, and mostly universities that are cheap, it means that could be cheap, could be fair, depending with each of the either words is relative. But any university, any city with a population of many universities, mostly cheap universities, it means that those universities encourage or attract a lot and lots of international students. Remember previously, until now, the coming January of 2024, every international university student was allowed to bring dependents. So if an area has a high population of international students, remember they also bring in their dependents. So that means there's also a lot of dependents in this area. So in such a case, what happens? It means one, there's a lot of labor because one, we have international students. Two, we have the dependents of those international students. So yes, there's labor shortage generally in the UK, but in such kind of areas, there's a very high magnitude of readily available labor. So it means that because for international students, they're supposed to work for at most 10 hours a week. So they work as much as they can. Then they also bring dependents who help them to work more so that they get money for maybe daycare, to bring in more at home for tuition and etc, etc. So what you're looking at a place or cities where there are a lot of universities, very affordable universities where a lot of international students are, and these international students brought their dependents. That means there is readily available and cheap or affordable labor. So if you're looking really to go to these kind of cities, you're going to compete, or there's a lot of competition in the job market with this magnitude of people. And also matters career progression and how much you're going to make. It's going to be very limited because, as explained previously, they are dependents and also they're international students who are willing to work as much as they can to put more money into their pockets. So what you need to do is, when you're applying for these jobs, you really need to figure out and map out which areas have, or which cities have a lot of international students and their universities are fair. That way they attract more international students. Rule out them, so that once you're applying for jobs, you're applying for jobs where you can get visa sponsorships, because there is shortage of labor. Rather, labor is not that readily available, because it will be very hard for you, for someone or an employer, to give you a visa sponsorship job, and yet in the market there is more than enough of labor that is already in the market. I hope you're on the same page and you're understanding what I say. So unless you are a skilled worker, if you're in the shortage occupation list, if you're just looking for any kind or the normal kind of job that any other person will be looking out for, it will be very hard for you to get these opportunities, because already they're in these kind of areas. There are lots of readily cheap or fairly affordable labor. So it will be very hard for an employer to give you a visa sponsorship and bring you all the way from abroad to these places, because there's a lot of labor. The second cities or places that you need to look out for are densely populated cities, and this is for the same reason. One, as I said, some of these cities are, well, they're densely populated, but they're also, the cost of living is very high. So you need to be on the lookout to if you want to start your career and you're not on the shortage occupation list, or you're not coming here as a highly skilled worker or a very experienced worker, you need to look out for places that are a bit cheaper. Remember, I said previously that North Island is one of the places in the UK that is, people look down onto it, and there are lots of opportunities in North Island, because North Island has a population of around 2 million people. It is not that populated. There are a lot of opportunities, and the cost of living compared to places like England and Scotland is way lower. So what happens with densely populated areas, like look at Manchester, look at Edinburgh, look at London, the cost of living tends to be a bit high. And also, again, there are lots of dependents, lots of international foreigners or international students in these cities. And also, you need to look out for, if you're earning, because some of the problem with these big cities is you end up making a lot of money, and what that does is, once the tax, all the kind of taxes are deducted, you're left to something that would have made easily in search of these less populated cities, and also these less populated cities or areas. Also, they bring calmness into your life. That is why I'm saying, you look at places like North Island, you compare North Island with places like London, you realize that sometimes living in places like North Island is way better than living in London, because London, definitely, when you bring out things like council tax, transport, London, it's basically like every time you leave your house, you're coughing money out, because everything is expensive. Every recreation activity in London needs money. And when you go to like places like North Island, you realize some of these places, they are walking distances, the life is calm, the crime rate is a bit low. Whatever money you make, you're left with a big or a good amount of money, because they don't have things like council tax, such kind of things. So sometimes you need to really look out for the small or the mid-range. Let me use the mid-range cities or places when you want to relocate, because these are the kind of places that will give you visa sponsorship jobs. And yes, I'm not taking away that in densely populated places like London and Manchester and Gatwick and Edinburgh, they'll give you visa sponsorship jobs. What I want also for you to remember is, you'll get jobs with visa sponsorship, but again, the career progression is not that easy, because there's a lot of competition within each and every organization that is in these kind of places, because there's a lot of qualified talent. The last thing we are going to talk about is, definitely, if we talked about the densely populated areas, we are also going to talk about the sparsely populated areas. And this is because they're definitely, they both have or harbor the same limitations. When it comes to sparsely populated areas, there are not a lot of opportunities that are offered, or they just lean towards one kind or two kind of industry when offering this kind of visa sponsorship jobs. Mostly in the UK mainland, if you go to places that have the kind of village setups, or they are way far from town, you're not going to get a lot of job opportunities, or you will not get high chances of career progression, because you're working for small companies. That is one. Two, there are not a lot of companies in the area. You find there are like 2 or 3 companies in such kind of places, so you may not also be able to career progress, that is moving from one company to another, because there are not a lot of opportunities. You need to look out for each and every factor when you're coming to these places, because you need to be very well informed. That is why I said I want to leave you the assignment of you doing the assignment and looking out for areas that you think will be of benefit to you. remember in a previous video, that is why I said some people really do not know, even if they don't even have the basic knowledge of what islands are there in the UK, and what do these islands offer that some of us really prefer to be in these islands compared to the mainland. So you need to be very informed when it comes to matters of what to choose when you're moving here, what are the opportunities when you're moving to these places. Someone in a previous video asked me if you can move to the UK as an accountant and how easy it is. I really have been shunning away to share that video because it is that information, because it is a very dear information to my heart, but I do not want to be gatekeep, and I'm not gatekeeping forever. So I hope in the coming 2 or 3 weeks I'm going to share how easy it is for you to move to the UK as an accountant, because I do not want to gatekeep you. And also, like as I said previously, the mainlands really look for these kind of talents in accounting, because there's a lot of shortage in acute shortage actually in the financial services industry, mostly in the whole of UK, both islands and mainland. Guys, remember to give this video a very big fat like, leave a comment, tell me what kind of content you'd like to see me creating. If you have any question, drop me down below in the comment section. I'm always ready, willing to share. I do not want to gatekeep you guys. I'm willing to share. If you have any kind of video or any kind of question you have, ask me down in the comment section. I will answer. On this channel, I share all videos, matters, relocation, visas, and jobs. And I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. That is all I have for today, you guys. And until next time, bye.